Good evening. December 11th may go down as the day of the biggest robbery in our country's history, and it happened right here in New York. Somewhere between $3 and $5 million in cash and valuables was taken from the Lufthansa cargo terminal out at Kennedy Airport. And the law enforcement officers say that it was carried off with such precision and such daring, you almost have to consider it an inside job.
So one day back in 1978, a man named Jimmy Burke had an idea that would go down in history as one of the most daring heists ever pulled off. Picture this: New York City, the cold December air, and JFK Airport, buzzing quietly in the early hours of the morning. Little did anyone know, this was about to become the scene of a crime so audacious it would leave everyone talking for years.
Red Baron was caught napping, and not by amateurs either. This band of robbers had everything down pat and made the entire caper from beginning to end go as smoothly as Swiss clockwork.
Jimmy Burke, also known as the Beast, wasn't just any ordinary criminal. He was a mastermind associated with the notorious Lufthansa crime family. Jimmy was known for his ruthless methods and sharp intellect, traits that made him both respected and feared in the criminal underworld. And he had a plan, one that involved millions of dollars in cash and a meticulous, high-stakes operation. To pull this off, he needed inside information. That's where Louis Werner came in. Louis was a Lufthansa cargo agent, but he wasn't exactly rolling in cash. He was deep in debt, thanks to his gambling addiction. Jimmy saw this as an opportunity. Louis had access to the airport's vaults and knew all about the large shipments of cash flown in from West Germany. This was the golden ticket Jimmy needed. Jimmy and his crew spent months plotting every detail. They studied the airport's layout, the security protocols, and the routines of the night shift workers. They planned every move meticulously, knowing that one mistake could land them all in prison for a very long time. December 11th was their chosen date, a night when the airport would be at its quietest and security would be at its lowest. On that chilly night, around 3 a.m., Jimmy's crew moved in. Dressed in black and armed with guns, they stormed the Lufthansa cargo terminal. They were swift and silent, taking the workers by surprise. The workers, held at gunpoint and bound, were powerless as the robbers made their way to the vault. The crew moved with precision, a result of their careful planning and rehearsals. The vault opened, revealing stacks of cash and boxes of jewelry, millions of dollars in total. In just over an hour, the crew had filled their bags and vanished into the night, leaving no trace behind. It was a flawless execution of one of the largest heists in history. But the success of the heist would soon turn into a dark saga. Jimmy Burke, paranoid about being caught, began to suspect that someone might talk to the authorities. To cover his tracks, he started eliminating anyone who knew too much. One by one, his associates turned up dead, their bodies found in car trunks and shallow graves. The paranoia and violence were hallmarks of the mafia's brutal methods to ensure silence and loyalty. The police and the FBI were hot on the trail but struggled to gather concrete evidence. Despite their best efforts, Jimmy managed to evade arrest for the heist itself, although he was later imprisoned for other crimes. The stolen money? It was never recovered. It vanished without a trace, adding to the mystique of the heist. Among the crew, there were notable figures, each playing a crucial role. Paul Vario, a member of the Lufthansa crime family, was instrumental in the planning and execution. He was a close associate of Jimmy Burke, and his connections within the mafia were vital. Then there was Tommy DeSimone, a notorious mobster known for his violent behavior. Tommy was part of the crew, and his involvement added an unpredictable element to the operation. His reputation for brutality meant that anyone who crossed him or the crew would meet a grim fate. Henry Hill, another associate of the Lufthansa family, would later become an informant. His testimony provided crucial insights into the heist and the inner workings of the crime family. Henry's story was immortalized in the film Goodfellas, where the Lufthansa heist was a significant plot point. James Jimmy Burke Jr., Jimmy's son, was indirectly involved due to his father's criminal activities. While not a primary player in the heist, his presence in the story adds another layer to the family dynamics within organized crime. Bobby Shakes, Tony Stacks, and Richie DePascali were other members of Burke's crew. Each played a part in the heist and its aftermath, their roles reflecting the complexity and coordination required for such a grand scheme. Lufthansa employees, whose lives were forever changed that night, were innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire of a grand criminal enterprise. Their experiences and trauma add a human element to the story, reminding us of the real impact of such crimes. The aftermath of the heist saw a wave of violence and suspicion. Jimmy Burke's paranoia led to a series of murders, each more brutal than the last. Friends and associates turned up dead, their fates sealed by the knowledge they carried. The once tight-knit group of criminals was torn apart by fear and betrayal. Law enforcement agencies faced immense pressure to solve the case. The heist was a high-profile crime, and the media frenzy added to the urgency. Investigators worked tirelessly, piecing together clues and tracking down leads. Yet the cunning and ruthlessness of Burke and his crew made the task incredibly challenging. Despite the significant efforts, many questions remained unanswered. The precise details of the heist's execution, the exact amount stolen, and the whereabouts of the money are mysteries that persist to this day. The legend of the Lufthansa heist continues to intrigue and captivate those fascinated by true crime. So there you have it, the Lufthansa heist. A story of cunning, greed, and the unpredictable chaos that follows when people push the limits of the criminal underworld. It's a tale that continues to captivate and intrigue to this day. Thanks for tuning in to this incredible story. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more thrilling true crime tales. See you next time.